Liz, welcome back. Can you explain your decision to come back to Virginia Tech this year?
Yeah. Feels like forever ago now. I think like this time last year I was kind of 50-50 really. And then just as the season progressed, I think just thinking about pros and cons, like the pros were starting to really outweigh the cons. I think the stability here and the relationships I have here are just unmatched, and obviously like that's not guaranteed anywhere else, especially at the next level. So that's mainly what contributed to it, and I think now looking back, that's like 110% the best decision for me.
What are your feelings coming off of last season? Has it sunk in yet what you guys accomplished, and is there like a feeling of, work still to be done? How do you kind of balance those two emotions, I guess?
Yeah. I don't think they were balanced until recently. I think like for the couple months after the season, obviously we ended on a loss, so that was the stinging feeling, the overwhelming feeling of something that we left behind. But I think the most recent months we've been able to really appreciate what we did. And like seeing the Final Four decorations in the locker room and everything has really had to make it sink in because we see it every day now. But it's also really cool that it's something we'll see every day because it was that big and it was that big of an accomplishment. So it's sunk in a bit, and now it's ironic. As soon as it sinks in, it's time to move on, but that's how it goes.
What's the first week of practice been like for you guys?
Yeah, it's actually been really good. I think we've made a lot of progress already. It's nice to see everyone together, to get our practice players out there to help us build the chemistry as a team. Testing out different lineups and everything is fun, and getting to know all the new girls, because only having 4 returners but 3 that played last year is obviously going to be a hurdle we have to get through. But we've kind of had that every year with transfers and not really knowing exactly how they'll fit, but it's been a cool process to see how they've already come into their role in the 5 days of practice we've had.
Can you tell like that the trip over to Greece had a difference in terms of everybody like knowing each other better?
Yeah, no, definitely. It was really weird actually to have the first day of practice because we were like, well, we've already had like 10 or 12 or whatever. Like it just felt like we took a month hiatus from practice, and I don't know, just to do some conditioning and stuff. You got to do that, but it definitely did help, and I think we all knew each other on a deeper level. Like we kind of knew what to expect a little bit. Coach Brooks has said like me and Georgia didn't play in Greece, so obviously that was a big difference to like how we normally play. But it was cool to see all the new people and what they brought to the table.
What have you tried to work on in your game, like over the summer? I know you've been here for a while now. What has been your main focus this summer?
Yeah, Coach Brooks has done a lot. Like obviously he always does individuals, and he focuses huge on player development. So in those we've worked on just moves outside of the block area, like expanding to points where I can be aggressive, like at the free throw line or farther out or on the perimeter. And obviously, shooting threes is always something I'll be working on, trying to get comfortable with, which has come a long way in practice, but I'll let you guys see for yourself.
On the left with Will.
You've obviously played with Georgia and Kayla and been in the system for years now, and you've developed chemistry with them, know their styles on the court. But what's it been like to develop kind of chemistry with a lot of new faces replacing some of the old ones from last year?
Yeah, I think at the start it can always be overwhelming. Like, oh my gosh, there's so many new people. Like, we don't know what to expect from them. But really that happens every year, especially with the transfer portal now. So it's just the normal. And we also have to realize that it's not something that other teams aren't also going through. Like, every team has these new pieces that are huge parts of the program. Like, it takes a lot of work to incorporate these pieces. So we're obviously doing that. We obviously have a ton, but it's been really exciting, especially with the pieces that we are adding and the potential that we see there. So every day it's like someone shows a new side of themselves, and it's like, oh, we can use that, and then use it to our advantage.
Then on the part of expanding your game, the 3-ball, is that something that you see, or just longer mid-range shots? Is that something you see developing over the course of this next season?
Yeah, I mean, I've been comfortable with longer mid-range. I think that just goes to show it's just a mentality that I just really have to get over, which is basically, like in practice, Coach Brooks will be like, okay, you have to shoot 3 today, like 3 threes. And that's just, I think that's the push I need to just get comfortable, because obviously I know, like, I can pass to Georgia and she can hit the shot right now, but we know she can do that. So in practice, he's really kind of let the leash loose a little bit and let us just try out new things. But that's just another great thing about coming back and having Coach Brooks for another year. Like, he knows us so well that we're allowed to test our boundaries a little bit. We're not worried about making him mad or anything.
And besides Greece, you were in Australia, right?
Yeah.
Well, Georgia's not here, so you can give your unfiltered take. What was that trip like for you? And I mean, I feel like that gives a better understanding of what she's like as a player and as a person, right?
Yeah, no, I still couldn't say anything bad because it would get back to her and she would kill me. But no, it was so cool. I think going over there for such a long time, like we went for like 3 weeks. Honestly, we could have been for more. But also seeing, like, we went up to the northern part of Australia, we went to the south. But having her as a guide to like show us, like a local, was just a great experience. Being with her family too was just the best part of it all because obviously she spent so much time with my family, Kayla's family, gotten to know us. It probably explains why we are how we are. So seeing her family, it definitely does make sense that she's how she is. They're a hoot. I love them.
And did you get to touch a netball? Like, did you get to see that sport?
We went to a game. Yeah, no, I literally shot a shot in practice yesterday, like just holding it up and then just shooting it. And Georgia was like, netball! Like, it comes into, like, it actually is a thought now. It's funny.
So if this doesn't work out, you still have netball.
She says that all the time, but I don't know. That sport is, have you watched it?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
No backboard.
No, it's crazy. I know. Not that I really use the backboard, but yeah.
On the left, Eric.
Just curious, is there a way to carry the momentum from last season into this year, although it is a clean slate, without putting all that pressure upon yourself again?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's no choice. Like, we've had those experiences. We have those, like, tastes of victory in our minds. They're always going to come back when we're faced with a big challenge like we were at the end of last year. I think also, like, that's a huge reason of why we got, like, some of the transfers. Like, I think they saw the success we had. Like, that's what people are expecting from us now. Also, like, from a media's point of view, like, obviously we got the schedule we did, and those games are going to be hyped up. Like, especially the LSU game, like, that's going to be a rehash of the Final Four. Like, we're not going to escape the Final Four, nor would we want to, because that was a huge accomplishment and obviously something that we're very proud of. But, yeah, I think it's just a balance of, you know, appreciating what we did last year, having certain aspirations, but not expectations, because that can get a little confusing, and we never want to expect the victory because it takes so much hard work, and, you know, that has to come from us, not from others.
You think those out-of-conference challenges earlier in the season or even on your schedule this year can help you for an even deeper run there?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be really different. I can't recall. I mean, we've played Tennessee in the past, but I mean, LSU being way too early, number one or whatever. Like, obviously, we haven't had that before. So, yeah, having 2 games like that in November of teams ranked above us, or probably, I don't know if that's an official ranking, but whatever, in the too early, whatever, will be a huge opportunity. Obviously, we'll have to get our stuff together, but so will they, because both of those teams have people that have left or new faces coming in. So it's, you know, who can figure it out the soonest, really.
Go up front to Mark.
You mentioned the transfers. Can you kind of talk about Rose and Matilda and Olivia, what you've seen from them so far, how they might be able to help you? Yeah.
Starting with Matilda, she can just flat out shoot. Like, just every time she puts it up, I think it's going in. We actually have to tell her to shoot more because we're like, everyone has the utmost confidence in her that everything is going to go through for her. So I think just as the more time goes on, she'll figure out what's a good shot, what's a bad shot in our system, and then she'll be able to put up more, and that'll just be great for us because she's fantastic. Rose brings that, like, strong, aggressive figure that, you know, she's not T-Sol, but just the same kind of mentality, I think, going into things, like grabbing strong rebounds, like crashing aggressively. So hopefully she'll be able to do that and also figure out her piece in the offense. But obviously those things will just take time and more playing. And then Olivia, coming from Wake, being a grad, has obviously had so much experience in the ACC. So she'll be able to bring that knowledge, and she'll be really familiar with the other teams as well as having played against us many times before. So she's familiar with kind of what we want out of our system, and, you know, she'll fit in also on the defensive side of things with bringing her intelligence and knowledge, and she can also shoot and stretch the floor, so that's very helpful for me.
And then on the flip side, I guess, what were the biggest things you think you got from Taylor and Kayana and Deja that you kind of think, okay, now, if we're going to be as good as we were last year, these are the kind of the traits we need to get from out of people this year.
Yeah, Tiso and KT were great for us on defense. They didn't always do what we wanted or play within our system, but they were so athletic that it kind of made up for it a lot of the times. So we're definitely trying to find our identity on defense again, but that just comes with having new pieces, obviously. But me, Kayla, and Georgia knowing the system and knowing what Coach Brooks wants out of the defense helps, and the other girls will follow along. And then I completely forgot what your other question was.
And Deja, obviously.
Oh, Mo. Yeah, Mo was just so smart. Like, she knew every single play. She would take charges, like, just do the little things that nobody would notice. And who knows who's going to fill that role, because Mo was here for three years and she didn't really come into that role until the end of the season. And those things are hard to tell right now in practice, like taking charges and stuff. Obviously, that's we don't always do that in practice. We don't want to get hurt, but just whoever will do the little things like that, they have a huge opportunity because she was really successful for us.
Back in the back with Anthony.
Liz, you mentioned that, obviously every school has to deal with the transfer portal now. Obviously you, Georgia, Kayla all decided to come back this year, and then you got others coming to join. Why do you think Virginia Tech is a place that others want to come to rather than leave?
Yeah. I just think if anyone's willing to give Coach Brooks or meet him halfway, that they will be successful. I think, the only way there's issues with that is if they're not willing to do that. But I think me, Kayla, and Georgia are great examples. We want to get the most out of here that we can. And I think we all recognize, too, that Coach Brooks would take us farther than, like, anyone else could have, honestly. And, yeah, it's not all about, status and recruiting and stuff like that. Like, me, Kayla, and Georgia were not, top 10 recruits or whatever, but he really puts time and energy into his players and builds them up. And I think once he's put so much time and energy into us, and vice versa, we've put it in also, I can't imagine having to start over from a new system or build a new relationship. It's just so solid here. And I know Kayla and Georgia would feel the same.
You mentioned Coach Brooks investing in you guys. What's it like? I'm sure it probably is just natural now because you've been here for so long. But I know at other places, the head coach isn't necessarily working out every player one-on-one all the time. What is that like knowing that Coach Brooks is wants you guys individually each to get better?
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a huge part of why I came back, and that's why I've had the success I've had. I know I wouldn't have gotten to the place I was without that. He completely transformed me as a player, and I know Georgia and Kayla feel the same way. And we also know how rare that is, and it's especially obvious when we have recruits on visits or we have our new transfers. They tell their stories about their experiences, and they're just so different often, and it just makes us all really grateful for what we do have here and appreciative of the mutual relationship that Coach Brooks has built with us. You
mentioned that you guys have seen each and every day a little new side of somebody else. Do you have any examples from the new kids?
Yeah, I don't know what I can say. Just things. If there's a hiccup in practice or something, seeing a little fire come out of someone is always exciting. Or just a new exciting move, or someone gets a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more bold. Like yesterday when Coach Brooks, we kept running a play over and over again. He wasn't telling us what he wanted out of it, and he'll do that sometimes, just try to make us think about it. And he really just wanted Matilda to jack a three behind a screen, but that obviously wasn't something that she, I don't think, knew was what he would have wanted out of her, but she finally got it, and then from then on, it's established, okay, yeah, she has the green light there, that's going to be a part of our offense.
You said you guys can kind of test these boundaries because you guys have that familiarity. Do you enjoy that? What is that like? I know you might be a little bit uncomfortable sometimes shooting threes all the time, but what is that like, and are you growing more comfortable with that?
Yeah. No, I think this year, more than any other year, I'm not really uncomfortable, honestly. I think he's made me so comfortable being uncomfortable. And in my fifth year, that's really kind of come to fruition in its entirety, I think. I really don't. I don't think any of us really have a fear of having repercussions, I guess, from trying things that we know he's instilled in us. Like, that's the whole thing. We wouldn't be faulted or punished for something that we've worked on many, many times, and that's why he has the trust in us, because he knows that we've put that time in. Yeah.
Liz, what have your general impressions been of the freshman class this year?
Oh my gosh, they're so funny. They're so weird. But as far as basketball goes, they're just trying to figure everything out. You know, I think coming into such a successful program with a few really like older players, you know, obviously they may have a little bit of intimidation factor, but I think that's good. That's a healthy thing. And I think, you know, they're using it to their advantage. Like, they're not afraid to ask questions and stuff, which is really beneficial for them. And also just, like, looking up to us. Like, I think Mackie probably follows Georgia around like a shadow, but that's, you know, probably the best thing that she could do. And once Coach Brooks, you know, told her that the blueprint was right in front of her, she took that to heart. And I think that just goes to show how determined she is to be successful and to get better. And that's, I mean, what more could you want out of your freshman?
All right, last one in front to Mark.
Within the program, does it feel different now because of the success of last year and accomplishing what you did? You know, is there a different sense of confidence or a different attitude, or is it, you know, does everyone, you know, does anybody carry themselves differently because of what you achieved last year?
Yeah. I think we are feeding off of the confidence that we did develop last year. I think around, I guess towards the end of conference play, middle of conference play, we got that sense of confidence where we felt like we were going to never lose again, honestly. Like, we felt like we were just so efficient and so good together. And I think that has kind of carried over into this year. And also, yeah, it's just the transition of the mindset from the, you know, the hunted to the, or the hunter to the hunted, you know. That's definitely also come into play. Like, obviously, I don't think we got below like a 15 ranking last year. So that was the first time, obviously, in my career that had been, that we'd consecutively been ranked that much, definitely. So the shift in mindset really happened last year. I think this year we've had, you know, me, Kayla, and Georgia, and Carly to carry that over, and then the new girls figuring it out.
Or just like the decorations you mentioned, is there anything else like that, I guess, that kind of that's, you know, it makes it different around here?
Yeah, I mean, we have a Final Four banner and ACC championship banner in the practice facility, so we see those every day.